Peace, peace, peace. I see you, fam. Yeah, I see you. We just getting situated. We're gonna be a good one. We just getting situated. So let me square some things away. Islam, Islam, Islam. We get some things squared away. We had a good Sunday teacher today at class. It was amazing. Islam, Islam. We're gonna clear some things up. We're gonna high cap, well not high cap, I would say recap on some history. And we're gonna talk about really what more science is. We're gonna the due process and what that consists of when you say you are more, yes, you can proclaim, but it's also a due process, and that's a legal term. And so if you're not able, how can I say, declare that due process to go through a procedure, it's certain individuals that have that right as persons. So we're going to clear up some things. And just like I said, this is what we should do, man. We should have our history. We should have our law. We should have our spirituality, our economics, our civics, all that, man. And we should be willing to learn. Now, hopefully, everybody that's on here watching and things, man, we can come together and start this commerce, man, because I'm building it. I'm trying to show brothers how to get contract license, man, and do things in their community, man. As nonprofit organizations, man, we got to do this, man. We got to stop complaining. A beggar nation cannot save itself. But we're going to clear up some things, man. So ride with me, get your pens, because like I said, this is study. I'm not here to convert anyone. You're supposed to be a Moor. That means you're a master craftsman, or Mobitis, an empress, whatever your title that you want. It's your title. But you're supposed to be a master craftsman, women. My empresses, you are the Eastern Star. You are the Eastern Star. That white fez, that gold tassel, that's all about you. Those 9 cycles, that 360, that's all you women. So my empresses, wear your turban, wear your fez proudly. And never let no one have you ashamed to wear your fez or your turban in clandestine. Understand what these words are. Clandestine is in secret. There's certain individuals that do things in secret because it's religion and politics. We wear things because this is our birthright. You can look this stuff up in history, in all the history books. So I challenge brothers and sisters to continue to study. And then that will remove all ego. That will remove all hate. I'm telling you, Moors, and we'll operate on law. So let's set things in the atmosphere. Then we're going to talk about some things, man. It's going to be a good one. But Prophet warns all Muslim governors ordered to read and proclaim at each meeting. Islam, more Islam. I hereby inform all members that they must end all racial agitating speeches while at work or in the streets. We are for peace and not destruction. Stop Europeans. Remember, your card is for your salvation. Moors, when I say one thing, we all should be doing the thing the same way. When brother be saying the Moorish Science Temple don't have a tax ID number, that's a lie. Yes, we do. So all Moors should have, if you say you're a part of the Moorish Science Temple of America, I don't know other people, but I know some things today before certain theory books. I mean, so I'm not here to debate or say what a person can do. A person can do anything by themselves. Organized nation, and we're talking about people that is count as a body politic. That's the Moorish Science Temple of America. And it's always a type. When I tell brothers, you must tread lightly, and you must also examine everything to make sure it's right. All the temples should be saying the same thing. And if it's not right, if you've been to one, you should put it out there. We got to stop accusing and putting accusation on people and situations if we've never been a part of it. But if you have been to a temple and brothers and sisters are coming with that religious stuff saying you should do this and this, some Islam, then we should put it out there. Once you become nationalized, this is your right to do certain things. So we must clear things up, man. I'm here to do that. When people be talking about that temple more stuff, Some of the temples not right. I had a temple out here in Arizona for almost 2 years. Brother was whack. Brothers didn't build, you know. So, and I'm not here to talk about anyone. This is a study. This is a craft. This is a science, man. So it says, stop flashing your cards at Europeans. It causes confusion. Remember, your cards are for your salvation. Failure to obey these orders will be of severe consequences. We are for love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, and my 2 cents, health and wealth. And when these principles are violated, justice must then take its course, Moors. Any member who or group of members who hold malicious feelings towards the temple or the prophet, that's esoteric and exoteric, Moors, or violate the divine covenant. I hope we know what the divine covenant is. If you don't know, you should if we say you are Moor. If you study Noble Drew Ali, because he created the Moor Science Temple. I have the literature. I wrote the books. We said, but or violate the divine covenant of the Moor movement will receive their reward from Allah for their unjust deed. All true Moors will and must obey the law as laid down by their prophet. If we lose confidence in the prophet, we should turn in our cars, our buttons, cease wearing our turban and our fez, and return to the state where we were found. This is a holy and divine movement founded by our prophet Noble Drew Ali. And if the prophet is not right, the temple is not right. The prophet there is sending out a divine plea to all Moorish Americans that they do their part in protecting the temple. This is an everlasting movement founded by the prophet through the will of Allah to redeem his people from sinful ways. Brothers and sisters, we got to stop confusing each other. If Moor's not saying the same thing, then you should question that. This is not no sovereign citizen thing. I'm telling you, man, you got to know the difference from America. You got to know this stuff. And you got to know these words. You got to, man, I tell brothers and sisters right now, what? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic. What? And to the republic. What? For which it stands. Come on, man. It's there, but we're not too much for which that flag stands. So what it's telling you, it's a republic. It's a republic state. So we got the honor of law, man. If we're going to talk about law, we must study it all instead of reading catchphrases. Instead of reading the sentence, when I say, brother, that's not valid in a court of law. And not knowing the law is no excuse. It's certain things that's not even valid in law. I promise you, man. So we got to get out with that ego thinking we're privileged because you think something is owed to you. And when I tell you, you are the vast estate. You don't even know what we're talking about, something divine, but we're getting so lost in the physical because the person is not teaching you the holy and divine creed and the national side. You get confused. But it is what it is, man. So let me finish reading. Let me finish setting things in the atmosphere. This is your nationality identification card for the Moorish Science Temple of America and birthrights for the Moorish. So I'm just a crash course in these things of God, our Father. When I say, I'm gonna say it again. I don't know about any other camps that nationalize. I have nothing to do with that. I don't know. When people be asking me about, well, what about this? I say, brother, this is what I'm saying. If you or more, and I give everybody the information about the Moorish Science Temple of America, what it's about, how to nationalize, ask all the questions. It's things, Moors, on the back of our ID cards. These are what I'm gonna show you everything, our oath of amnesty. So all out, when a person asks me, I say, if I'm gonna do something, I just have to investigate it and do the things the right way. So you can be part of the total body politic. And I'm gonna show you things back in history where this is counted, how things were sent in to the law of Congress and things. It's things on the back of our nationality cards that mean something. It tell you what to turn it in at. It tell you what temple to turn it in at. If it's lost, return to the Moorish Science Temple of America, 259 North Pulaski Road, Chicago, Illinois, USA, North of Mexico Territory. Phone number 312-966-1770, or the other number is 318-946-0656. Call it. Ask questions. You must do what you must do. And then, and when you nationalize, you're not no more of no city or no state. You are more of the Moorish Science Temple of America, meaning any temple you should go to. That's why I know what Drew Ali tell you. If anything, claim your nationality. When you go into a temple, he say, if anything, when you go into that temple, man, claim your nationality. That's the order of the day. It's your right. It's things on this card. We identify various degrees and symbols that reference on our nationality and identification card. So let me show you. I'll show you something. When we're talking about it's things on our cards. It's things on our cards, signs and symbols that mean things. It's things on our cards that signs that mean things. Various degrees and symbols in reference. What is the difference between Muslim and Muslim? Where do you find the divine law of the Moorish Quran? Am I a United States citizen? The United States citizen is chattel property under the 14th Amendment, which were not the laws that our founding fathers instituted, which was declared null and void in 1883. Civil Rights Case Number 109, U.S. 3. As a race, as free. But how can we, how can we truthfully say that when the executive have never been carried out, slaveholder, their property? And the fourth article of the, Moors, Constitution of the protection, property. So you may try to use the 14th Amendment for protection, but that is the fourth paragraph let the cat out the bag. And it clearly state that the slaveholders never got paid for you Moors, or not for you Moors, for you NBCs that claim Negro black color. You steal their property. And the only way that you can be free from the slaveholders, the executive will of President Second, 1862, you became federal property. The government will charge your status, set us free as citizens of you, so you can enjoy the blessings of the Constitution of the United States. And if the government don't do that, you will still be a slave under Section 9 of Article 1 of the Constitution of the United States, and will be violated because no slaverism is to be in existence after 1808, Moors. Also, you got to read the last paragraph of the Emancipation Proclamation of September 22nd, 1862, family. So am I a citizen of the United States of America? Noble Drew Ali was a citizen. And you cannot separate the Moorish Science Temple from the founder, its members, nor its congregation. We are one. I hope you follow me. How American citizens, Moors. Are you following me, Moors? Islam Emperor, the Republic, for which it stands. When I show you the history, there in your face, we are free on per se. 1863 more. The declares are, and the executive will recognize and maintain the freedom of such persons, and will do no act such persons or any of them in the efforts they make for their actual freedom. See, these things that on our cards that mean things. When I talk about 905, appearing, what does it mean? On August 1st, 1928 at 2:50 from 1099 was filed for a record in book 521 on page 579, the affidavit, the number of the affidavit of the corporation, the religious affidavit of organization filed county noise. When people would be talking, this is nothing to hide. The Moorish clandestine, the temple is set up in a certain way for you to get. Yes, you can. Yes, Obama passed the right of indigenous people. Nationality. But yes, but as a body politic, as a group, this is your right. On the back of cars, the children that went up to captivity, all these things are on the back of our cars, are on the back of our ID cars. More, so much on it. There's so many ID cars. So when brothers be asking me about these other groups, and I say ID card, and it's just an ID card, I say, brother, I don't know what that's about. Nice through the Moorish Science Temple of America, which some sovereign citizen or some of that, or something like that. I'm not in that. You should really just research and see who is sovereign city. When we talk about who is America, And when you see who had to have permission to be a citizen and treat, it's just, when people saying the temple is not this and the temple is not that, the temple will set up a certain way. Noble Drew Ali filed the affidavit. That's what number. It's set up a certain way. Don't let nobody get you caught up in the spookism things, talking about, oh, this, and this, that. Or the temple this. Yeah, if you know any of them, you've been part of them, you should put them out there. It's just what it is, just like anything else. We talk about this ain't right, these churches ain't right, this ain't right. But then we don't call it all out. We'll bash our brother or try to, you'll see some people in certain groups to say what color fez or turban a sister or a brother can wear. But you don't say that to him. We're saying whether, man, but we soft in the world. We lying to brother. We telling brothers and sisters to do things that we never would do. We telling brothers to do something that's not even more science. Brothers don't understand the right to travel that and about commerce. You got people going out here doing things, getting in trouble. More as our law-abiding citizens. The true and divine national movement of North America, from the tribes and families of lineages. So when brothers be trying to connotate themselves, breaking them down in tribes, just powers in due time, from the great God, our ancient forefathers, their heritage and divine autonomies to link ourselves with the family of nations, her to stand, declare, and hereby officially. I hope y'all understand what I'm saying. Signings and framers of the what? The proclamation of status and jurisdiction of the Moorish Americans in proper persona, Sir Juris. When we talk about the preface, I'm giving you the preface of the understanding, the importance of the status of jurisdiction. Come on, man. You get things connotating, total out of context. Look at these names in the dates. Elu in Pleasant Bay, Isha Pleasant Bay, Mecca Pleasant Bay, Boaz Pleasant Bay, Jocelyn Pleasant Bay, all family members. Brothers, that when I say body politic, when you do things the right way, I don't know when somebody giving you some cards and ID, but you should ask that, are you part of the Moorish Science Temple of America on paper? When you see that this paperwork was given to Honorable George Herbert Walker, the office, when it was put in that the Moorish American Declaration Proclamation. I think I read this to you before, Morris. Here go to proof that when it was sent. This is all documents that we should have so we can stand strong. Like, look, nationalize Moors through the temple. When I tell Moors the temple was set up a certain way, that's why when I show you it's things on the back of our nationality card, we have a tax ID number, why it was set up as an affidavit, why when elected, appointed, why he set up as a religious organization. You the wrong way. We and we're not asking the right questions. It's not just any cards, but in just your cards and this paperwork don't mean nothing either. And we're going to talk about declare, proclaim, and due process. But it's other things that come with it. Your paperwork, the title of nobility certificates, your 720 dispensation. When I be telling brothers, I don't know what brothers be talking about when they be arguing over things, and I say, brothers and sisters, we the supreme grand body and council of the Moorish Science Temple of America, deriving the its power and authority from great God Allah and his prophet Noble Drew Ali, whom Allah has sent to redeem his people, the fallen sons and daughters of the Asiatic nation of North America. The said supreme grand body and council is authorized and empowered to initiate and confer degrees of said temple upon any persons or persons duly proposed, qualified. That's why the paperwork is not elected, it's appointed, qualified, and approved in accordance with established forms, usage of the laws and edicts of the illustrious Prophet Noble Drew Ali and the Moorish Science Temple of America. Its jurisdiction to administer to all true members all the privileges and benefits to all Muslims of the West, Noble Khari Goodman Bey. 720 degrees is hereby granted dispensation of said depth and here to the vast estate. You got to know who the vast estate is. It ain't me. We talking about, man, come on, Morris. We got to be, it's the synchronicity. We got to tell the truth and express trust of Prophet Noble Drew Ali in the dominion of Kush, northeast and southeast Africa, and northwest and southwest was his father's dominion of Africa. When we talk about America BC, before the so-called Ice Age, Pangea, when you can get to and fro from a boat. It's so simple if we understand landmass and geography. HR 144-350 agreement. I mean, House of Bay, title of nobility, 720, American, Moorish American Muslim. I mean, we just going to just kicking the ballistics, man. 720, Allah, may Allah bless and protections always be upon the House of Bay, title of nobility, certificate, Noble Khari Goodman Bey, registry of the Noble House of Bay, a descendant of the Royal House of Judah, a descendant of the Royal House of Judah. We connect the dots, Moors. We connect the dots, and I'm just going to keep showing something, man. I'll just pull it out so we don't get things twisted. United States of America, Free National Republic, 1774. Free National Republic. Want me to read it again? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands. Let me read. Want me to say it again? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands. Come on, man. You got to understand the science and the symbology and the words, man. So when you're letting people getting you all caught up in spookism, when you don't understand signs and symbols, when they talk about some Illuminati things on a dollar, something scary. No, it's not. Those numbers on that dollar mean things. But you don't understand it because you're caught up in spookism. But the United States of America, Free National Republic, 1774, U.S. President Abraham Lincoln, 1864. Amnesty Oath. I hope you know what an amnesty oath is. Let me read it. I, Khari Goodman Bey, do solemnly affirm in presence of Almighty God that I will henceforth faithfully defend and the Constitution of the United States and the Union of the States thereunder, and that I will in like manner abide by and faithfully support all acts of Congress passed during the existing rebellion with reference to slaves, so long, so far as not repealed, modified, or held void by Congress or by decision of the Supreme Court, and that I will or declare void by decision of the Supreme Court. So help me God. I hope we know what a Free National Republic is and the amnesty oath is. I hope we know, Morris. So when brothers be asking about getting ID, anybody can print ID, and I'm not talking about nobody camps, but we're talking about a body politic. We talk about a body politic. By the powers of this decree, it is so ordered and commanded by our illustrious Prophet Noble Drew Ali to register all nobles of the House of Bay to their title of nobility, pursuant to Leviticus 25:10. I hope we know what that is, Morris. When brothers be dissing certain things because they don't know the essence of things. Oh, we don't do this. I keep telling Morris, we study everything. We study the essence. Certain literature is written about you. That's just like if I wrote something and gave you the key of life and it's covered with a whole bunch of stuff that might not be valid. But when you research it and peel back and read it, throw it away. That's what happens. We don't study. And when I tell you have to dig farther, when I talk about ancient history and first century, when things were written about you, all in the Geneva Bible and in the German HR, Mohammed, it's all talking about you. And they know more. They connotated with Ethiopian, African, Egyptian. I mean, you have to peel it back and get the data. It's there. But by the power of this decree, it is so ordered and commanded by our illustrious Prophet Noble Drew Ali, Moorish Americans are of the Royal House of Judah, descendant of King David. From the Royal House of who? Judah. Descendant of who? King David. The inhabitants of Africa are the descendants of the ancient Canaanite from the land of Canaan. Old man Cush and his family. We should know all that. I gave you all that. The Moabites. Now, I'm going to give you a scripture. I hope y'all saw this biblical scripture, how they try to twist words on you. Listen, the Moabites from the land of Moab who received permission from pharaohs of Egypt to settle and inhabit northwest Africa. They were the founders and the possessors of the present Moroccan Empire. Now watch this. Let me see. When I tell you more, you got to study and ask questions. Read Deuteronomy 23. and 3, when it says no Moabite or Amorite may enter the assembly of the Lord. You got to keep peeling back things, the mystery and the trickery, and who implemented things to try to strip certain things. So I hope we know the signs where I'm going with this, Morris. The Moabite from the land. Okay, I gave you all that. I gave you the oath of amnesty. I gave you that. Moorish Science Temple of America, our baptism certificate. What? Yeah, we have a baptism certificate. Come on, Morris. I keep telling you, this is a holy and divine and national movement. Holy and divine. Holy and divine as well. Don't let nobody trick you. Don't let nobody trick you because they don't know. Don't let nobody trick you because they don't know, man. This is a holy and divine. This is the holy and divine. Our Muslim Missionary Decree Certificate, Supreme Grand Body and Supreme Grand Council of Moorish Science Temple of America in Mecca have been vested in sovereign powers by great God Allah, illustrious Prophet Noble Drew Ali, to confirm degrees of a Muslim of the West to a person or persons that has been raised 180 degrees from a shallow grave, son of a widow. I keep giving you the science, son of a widow in a North Gate. Son of a widow in a North Gate. I, Noble Khari Goodman Bey, my obligation as a Muslim missionary by free will, the obligation of nobility of the elect of the Moorish Science Temple of America, teaching the Asiatics of North, South, and Central America to love instead of hate, Moors. As I traveled, and my Hebrew master logo of perfection. I just went over that with y'all, yay. If you study your Circle 7 Quran, it's in there. I do hereby upon my holy Quran, Circle 7, demonstrate my degrees to raise fallen humanity from its imperfections with the degrees of social duties, justice, charity, gratitude, and sincerity. When I tell more, this is no play with me, man. We are law-abiding citizens. We don't play with this, man. In my travels, Allah guide my feet in love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, and my 2 cents, health and wealth. And ear to falsehood, hypocrisy, and deceit, Moors. As I travel to burning sands, I possess my charter of warrant and my dispensation, my authority to pass through all ports unmolested with my divine rights and privileges. All sons of a Muslim must hold true to the obligation of nobles, Muslims and Mohammedans by words and deeds. More, I'm telling you. So when brothers be saying it's stuff on the back of our nationality card that means something. When I showed you the paperwork, it's things on the back of our card. It's all laws. When I talk about our internal consulate of America Moors, our amendment, resolution to make amendment to the religious corporation affidavit, organization document. I just was telling you our 1010-5905, book 5921, page 579, August 1st, 1928 AD. Whereas Moorish Americans are trust corpus of the Holy Prophet Noble Drew Ali's 1928 fee simple absolute vast estate, irrevocable express trust. Whereas Moorish Americans are the fiduciary, trustees, and beneficiaries of all said trust property, whereas we are divine Moorish consulate posts for the affairs of the Holy Prophet Noble Drew Ali and the Moorish Science Temple of America. Come on, man. Our Moorish ecclesiastical body, politic, and governmental and local government, Moorish Bureau of Governmental Affairs, State of Republic, County Cook, Northwest Amexima, Moorish Allodial, Title Deed, Commercial Affidavit of Convenience, Adoption and Enrollment. In my adoption and enrollment papers. I mean, I'm just, like I say, it's no secret. Holy Prophet Noble Drew Ali, holder in due course of entire adhesion, contracts of person through redemption by adoption, enrollment, and convenience with proclamation of nationality, divine constitution and bylaws. That's Act 6. Holy Quran Circle 7, Egypt, the capital empire of the dominion of Africa, fee simple absolute by meters and bounds. The inhabitants of Africa are the descendants of the ancient Canaanites from the old land of Canaan. I gave you that. That's why the scripture I just gave you in what? Deuteronomy, what was it? 23:3, how they try to strip you of your land. No Moabite or a Morite may enter the assembly of God, and you don't understand what it is, and you scared to ask. Certificate of adoption. Certificate of adoption. Certificate of enrollment. with the certificate of adoption, a claim of adoption by proclamation of free national name and nationality, print, delude, full name, Kareem Hakeem Goodman on the birthday, the 19th, my birthday, blah, 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 the year, blah, 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 and birth color or race was black, has been adopted, claim it and proclaim the race Asiatic, nationality Moorish American, and one free national name, Bay. For this trust corpus is with this proclamation by the claim of this person, born in the city of Harrisboro in the county of Harrisburg in the county of United States in these United States of America by these parents, my mother, my father, you know, their names, blah, 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 you know, certificate of enrollment. So we just gonna say if we're gonna do things when brother's not telling you the truth about things. It's only one Moorish Science Temple of America. That's it. Any other thing I don't know about. Moorish Science Temple of America, International Consulate of American Moors. Holy Prophet Noble Drew Ali is the founder. Get your pens. I give you the address. I give you everything. Call, research, ask questions. 259 North Pulaski Road, Chicago, Illinois, Republic. The phone number 773-798-6215. Another number 318-946 Abraham Lincoln and Andrew Jackson. This document exists as a certificate that the individual indicated below has taken and subscribed an oath of amnesty. Research what an oath of amnesty is and reconstruction, affirmation of the Emancipation Proclamation with alliance to the Republic Constitution of the United States of America, including the 13th Amendment with 20 sections and the Holy Covenant of the Asiatic nation. This individual has also proclaimed a free national name, race, nationality, and religion as follows. Title, Noble Kareem Goodman Bay, race, Asiatic, my birthday, date of proclamation, when I nationalized, you know, the date, the location of proclamation, nationality, Moorish American, where I was born, Florida, religion, old time Islamism. The free national name Bay must be annexed, Research what annexed is, mean placed next to as a suffix to the slave per se family name of the individual in all public and private records throughout states and nations. Upon the complete implementation of section 16 and 17 of the 13th Amendment with 20 sections of the U.S. Constitution, the individual will receive a full permanent ancestral name, assisted through the Freedmen's Bureau Act of 1865 and protection guaranteed under the federal mandate through the United States government. Research it. So that's that part, Moors. That's that part, Moors. We clear up all spookism. Don't let nobody get you connotated, saying they got to send you through some ritual and they're not telling you what the adapt chamber is. It's about perfecting yourself because they're not adapts. I teach, look, Morris, remember what I was talking about yesterday? We're going to talk about the 12-step ladder. And we're going to talk about the so-called 12 disciples. Remember now how I read you in the Quran in chapter 5. These remind me of our workman tools. To use what? To master ourselves. Also in a comedic and adapt, which were the 7 comedic principles. So I'm going to show you that, Morris. I hope we know this. It's here. It's just science. Look. Chapter 5, Circle 7 Quran. This is where we build up thought. And it's science. And where else that is? The Comedic and Adapt manual and use of the carpenter tools. These tools remind me of the ones we handle in the workshop of the mind, where things are made of thought and where we build up character. We use the square, ETC. I hope we know that science, Morris. It's science we're supposed to know. And if we don't know it, we should say, hey, man, I don't know it. I'm willing to be a student. I teach the science, man. We have all the literature. Moorish Americans, Light of Ali, and the Moorish Adapt Study Guide, the House of Ali, Mysticism. I mean, I teach the manual. All Moors should be saying the same thing. Shouldn't nobody talk about they got something else somebody have? No, they don't. This is a craft, man. You know, that's one. Interpretation of the Divine Creed of Moorish Islam. I have the books, a soft copy and PDF. If you're not willing to study and learn it, then I really think that's an issue. If we're not willing to study and learn, the only way you're gonna study yourself and ask questions and research. Saying I'm better than nobody, but it's the craft, healthy living and eating. This is stuff that we should be doing. Healthy eating and living. Where I show you how to do shakes and blend things. Now I'm saying I'm better than nobody, but it's the craft, healthy living and eating. This is stuff that we should be doing. And ways to work out, to perfect yourself. This is what this is about. So scholars who debunk Eurocentric propaganda, and I use black in the context because it's a word that we identify to. So follow me when the teaching is going. I mean, these are all books that I've gathered and compiled for us to study. You Are What You Eat, our vegan cookbook. Our vegan cookbook. You know, we gather, these are things that we show how to transform, man. I don't have no, like I tell brothers, I don't take any pills. 14 famous Asiatic scientists in history. This is stuff we should be teaching our kids, the stuff that we know now, that we know late. We teach them this early. Vegan treats. Vegan treats. You see what I'm saying? I mean, I have literature, PDF. I have it PDF and soft copy. And everything is tax exempt. When I tell brothers I do commerce, I'm a business. If any brother telling you they don't do business or not to do this, they're lying. How they getting paid? Then I bet you all them working, filing income taxes. It's not telling you. I'm telling you, I'm a business. I'm a nonprofit. I'm a contractor. We do commerce in our community, man. That's what the right to travel is. Why? The right to do commerce as a seaman, as a merchant, as a scholar, as a teacher. We got to. That's who Angelo Solomon was. We are master craftsmen. We are teachers. We are lecturers. This is us, man. We the ones that create the education. That's why it's a thing called pseudo academia. But like I said, the other books, the black scholars who debunk Eurocentric propaganda. And when I say black, we got to understand where I'm coming from. These were the words that was used then. But we can go in the context of, and I can explain how the word black, depending on the context, is not bad. When we talk about the sun, when we talk about melanin, when we talk about carbon. So when we talk about 666, 6 protons, 6 neutrons, 6 electrons, when we talk about the color spectrum, that in school they reversed it and told you things come from light to dark, but that's not true. Everything comes from dark to light. The same way they put people in the same jurisdiction as a person and place and a thing. How can a person be in the same jurisdiction as a place and a thing? Well, that comes to ownership, and that comes to chattel, and that comes getting caught up in linguistic apartheid, and that comes to not understanding studying words. Come on, man. But healthy eating and living. I got to promote what we're doing because we should all be studying this. When you ask a person, they say, what's the adapt chamber? And then you hear brothers that might be part of some temples or some groups, and they say, oh, I got to send you through something. Man, it's you sending yourself through it. It's the study. It's the craft of perfecting yourself. Nobody can send you through nothing. No jewel, no manulet, no talisman bracelet. None of that stuff is magical. It's you that has the magic. It's the person. It's the agent. This turban, the fez is nothing. It's supposed to be something under that captor. It's supposed to be something under that fez. But Sufism and the triple role of the adapt chamber feature the Kemetic adapt manual and the use of our carpenter tools. Right? It's in our Circle 7 Quran, chapter 5. The carpenter tools. The carpenter tools. When I talk about the 7 Kemetic principles. Come on, man. Interpretation of the divine creed of Moorish Islam. We should know this. We should know. We should be understanding the same thing. When people come with that falseness, we can shut it down. Moorish Americans, Light of Ali, and the Moorish Adapt Study Guide. The House of Ali Mysticism. Come on, Moors. Don't let nobody get you caught up when they bull crap. Why? Because to take one's place in the world, we must of necessity be determined to act according to law. Only those that abide within the law-abiding citizens. You got to understand where I'm going with that. Can demand equal protection and application of lawful directives and the body. That's why I said brothers are jumping in an advanced civics and not going through the prereqs. Brothers getting in trouble. I'm telling you, because brother jumping to advanced civics. and not lowering themselves, not mastering their lower self first. And that's a first. That's what this is all about. The philosophy of Moorish science is productive confluence of Kemetic mysticism, Oriental philosophy, and esoteric ideologies Moors, all of which is to be comprehended by what the Moors call the gnosis of the naught and the naught of falsehood and of truth. Learning to so employ the divine faculties Moors of the higher self through the instruction of the ancient wisdom by diligently study, practical application, which I call holistic, and the suffering of prudence through a proper knowledge of law. Once capable of clearly distinguishing between the worst and the best parts of our being, it is of the greatest benefit to subdue those baser instincts of the physical or the lower self. And why it's a divine and holy creed. So let's get back into some science. And like I said, we doing 2 parts. It's gonna go off in about like 15 minutes. Log right back on, man. We're gonna finish it up. But when I be talking about sun gazing, how you get caught up in linguistic apartheid with words and it's confusing you. Like the sun is the greatest, is the great Satan, meaning adversary for Aryans per se. Because you got to remember, nature goes with nature. Production or protector of the primordial man or the melanated people. Satan is good for indigenous people or humans, not mankind. I hope you follow me. Just look up science, the difference from human and mankind. But bad for others. Many curse the sun's true name, which is Setun, Sehtun. Research the science. The same way they curse the true name of the earth, which is Terra, Terrah, or Terra. And the same with the moon, which is Synn. When I tell you the sin is the moon god, is all these words is connotated and throughout you as spookism. The great names of condemn the wicked and bless us. So we got to know that. You got to know how the brain is actually supposed to be purple. The great lifeless color matter we have today because we don't practice sun gazing like we did. I mean, we got to know this science, man. Naturally, we are born to. There are special reflectors in the retinas of the eyes that magnify light to cause photosynthesis of the brain. So when brothers be asking me, how do I stay rejuvenated? Why do I run when I do certain things when the sun set and the sun go down? When I do it gradually and gradually to rejuvenate myself along with healthy eating and living, because you got to activate your DMT, you got to activate your melanin. Your third eye has to be activated. Everybody is born with it, but it must be activated. And certain foods and things and fluoride and sugars can deactivate certain things. The body, the brain goes through several different color stages, from gray being the weakest to green, blue, and finally purple. The highest level. What color is your brain, Morris? For these reasons, most of you know this. Humans tend to have their pineal glands heavily calcified when sleeping. I hope we know this. Fluoride found in tap water, all that stuff can decalcify certain things. So we talking about science, man, and how we make ourselves better. As I said, I'm gonna touch all avenues. I'm gonna touch all avenues. Nothing. If you study history of things, when I tell Morris, I will hope Morris buy my literature that I produce for the temple, but I also produce books and print books. One of the books is the Tavistock Institute of Human Relations, Shaping the Morals of Spiritual, Cultural, Political, and Economic Decline in the United States. When things are written, you can research these things, man. You don't have to listen to nobody talking stuff, getting you with spookism. You know, when I tell brothers and sisters my affiliation with certain groups, I share all the information back with my brothers and sisters. When I'm under no secret society. Yes, I'm a Moorish Muslim. Yes, I'm a teacher. Yes, I'm a dad. Yes, I'm part of the Philosophical Society. You know, we teach because most brothers think that I've run into, they don't like to study. And so I teach science all over. So now we're going to talk about this esotericness of these 12 disciples. But first, when we talk about declare and proclaim, when you declare is to say something in the psalm and emphatic manner, acknowledgement. Proclaiming is almost the same thing, which is great. That's an outward appearance. That's wearing your fez, wearing your turban. But then due process. It's another thing about due process, and certain individuals are not getting due process. So we got to understand what that due process is all about as a group, as an organization in the color of law. So keep those things in your head and what due process is. But when we're talking about this 12 path, when you get brothers and sisters in certain religious groups, they try to put themselves different from people and say they're the chosen ones. I don't even understand what that means when I just gave it to you about one nationality with many cultures. But then if you're saying that, if these so-called religious people trying to use the Bible, well, Deuteronomy 23:3 says no Moabite or Amorite may enter the assembly of the Lord. And then you get the religious group going around screaming this other crap. So there's certain things that you don't get into. You don't get into allegory. You don't get into parables. You don't get into symbology. You don't get into connotation. And you don't get into someone trying to arbitrarily explain their religious dogma. Because Moors, we understand the triple role of the adapt chamber. If you are Moor, you call yourself some grand sheik or master teacher, you understand what I'm saying. So the science of the 12 disciples, like I showed you on my shirt, or the 12-step ladder, or the 12 functions of the brain, that the 12 function of the brain. So we're going to talk about the 12 tribes and its specific energy, which we must manifest in the world or within ourselves. So when you're talking about the blueprint of life, when people be throwing these religious scriptures, and you remember, Morris, it's an esoteric and an exoteric explanation. What's the meanings of words? Like when brothers be saying Christian, you got to know that's not English. That's still Greek. The root, the etymon of that word is Cretan. Research what these words mean. Research what replacement theology is. Research who Serapis Christos is. Research who Caesar Borgias is. You know, so you have to understand language. You must, Moors, for you won't be connotated or caught up in linguistic apartheid. So when people will be talking about Hebrew or Moorish or Latin, well, blessing in Hebrew also means to draw down. In Hebrew is hamashko, from the root myric. Even one of the tribes has a particular journey. You know, so we're talking about particular things. I hope we understand that, Moors. So to understand these so-called 12 tribes, which are the 12 paths, I gave you our Circle 7 Quran, chapter 5, about our workman tools. When I tell more, this is high science, 32 and 33 degrees is just a level above freezing. I hope we know this science. That's no science. I have brothers and sisters that's under European masonry, that's under Prince Hall. And when I teach them, some know. Some know. That's why they're sons of Muslims. That's why some wear the fez in clandestine. But you got to understand the reason in Genesis 29 and 30. Each tribe is given a name with a particular meaning for a specific reason. You got to understand the esotericness of it when we're talking about creating the perfect man. And second, when Jacob blessed them before he passed away, the Torah. You read the Torah, and when it's talking about the tribes and specified many times when entering Egypt, when they leave Egypt per se, the allegorical story, the analogy, the symbolic story, their temple, dedication offerings repeated 12 times, though they brought the same offerings to emphasize the 12 unique paths. I hope you follow me, Moors. Like, for instance, let's break this stuff down pertaining to yourself. Reuben, the first. Simon, the aggressor. Levi, the cleric. Judah, the leader. Dan, the judge. Naphtali, the free spirit. Gad, the warrior. Issachar, the prosperous one. Issachar, the scholar. Zebulun, the business person. Joseph, the sufferer. Manasseh, a recognition. Ephraim, transformation. Benjamin, the ravenous consumer. See, these is all. I hope you follow me, Moors. The firstborn, Bekor, represents powerful energy of everything that comes first. the first fruit, the first moments of the day, the beginning of every creation, has enormous amount of energy, unstable like water. This power can go either way, Moors, if harnessed properly. The Becker or the Reuven, that energy can change worlds. And if abused, it can destroy. Just like the water, Moors, it can be the source of life, but if it's unchanged or unchanneled, it erodes its environment and can flood and surround and encompass everything. So harnessed properly, Moors, the Becker or that Reuben, that energy can change the world. We're talking about these chakras. We're talking about the things that's inside of us, the Simon, the aggressive, the Juvara or the Guvara, the fierce anger and the cruel wrath, that the results of umbrage that we must eliminate, lest it turns into weapons of violence that consume the person. We're talking about perfecting ourselves. We talk about heaven and hell is within. The thermostat does not go outside itself for hot and cold. It's just the level of the way the pendulum swings. Come on, Moors. Levi is the tribe to serve in the temple. Levi also means attached or joined. Levi is personality and dedication, your life to serving a higher calling, or freeing yourself from the bounds to material survival and attaching yourself to divine service. That's why this is a holy and divine movement. Judah means acknowledgement. Judah names also includes the 4 letters of the divine name, Havia. Judah is the leader. His descendants would be the kings of Israel per se, right? Being King David and concluding with Meshach. Judah is the path of selflessness. Betul, the most vital ingredient to leadership. We're talking about yourself. Dan is the path of law and order. Dan means judge. Objective, justice is the heart of civilization. Naphtali is the free spirit personality. Like a deer running free, breaking out the status quo. Independent is a necessity of component and growth. Yet this free spiritness must always take care to deliver words of beauty, Moors. Gad is the warrior archetype, expanding on justice of Dan. Gad is ready to fight for his beliefs. The warrior is necessary to, the warrior is necessary to both the dimension of blessing beyond the norm, is the blessing beyond the norm, to be given more than what is necessary for survival. Asher is the personality of not just getting what you need, but also enjoying it. Ezekar is the scholar. Scholarship provides wisdom, clarity, and direction. It is the foundation of any system. Ezekar is the dedication to immense in study and education. Let me repeat that, man. Ezekar is the scholar. Scholarship provides wisdom, clarity, and direction. It is the foundation of any system. Ezekar is the dedication to immerse in the study and education, meaning to put your whole being into this craft. Zebulon, now here we go, this right to travel, this doing commerce is the merchant, the business person, personality. His role is to enter the marketplace and redeem the divine sparks within the material world. The secret treasures hidden in the sands. You can research this esoteric science of this symbology in Deuteronomy 33 and 19. Zebulon complements Ezekar. They forge a partnership. Zebulon supports the scholar. He funds houses of scholarship, which earns him a right to partake in the reward of Ezekar's study. Are you following me, Moors? Joseph is the enlightenment of suffering in life, yet he not only survives, he thrives. He achieves greatness through his challenges. He overcomes all adversaries and becomes a great leader. Manesh represents the ability to succumb to the powers of Egypt that want you to do the things. Remember, you don't have to give up who you are. It's going off, family. Log back on. We got about 30 more minutes. We're going to finish up and we'll be done. Islam.